story time.
Demon with Matted Hair is an Indian tale retold by Claire Horsburgh. Once upon a time, King Brahmadatta ruled the kingdom of Banaras. One day, a chief queen gave birth to a baby boy. This baby was special because he was the Bodhisattva destined for Buddhahood. On the name day, the king invited 800 Brahmins to the feast to study the lucky marks of the baby and foresee good things in his son's future. After eating, the Brahmins peered at the baby, carefully studied his lucky marks. After they had studied, they sat back down in their places in the courtyard. One stood and spoke for them all. "Full of goodness, great king, and when you die, he will become king and will be famous and renowned for his skill with the 5 weapons and shall be the chief man in all India." They gave him the name Prince of 5 weapons, that is the swords, the spear, the bow, the arrow, the battle axe, and the shield. When the prince was 16 years old, the king asked him to go to the kingdom of Kandara in the city of Takasila to continue his education there. The king gave him 1,000 pieces of money to give to his teacher as a fees. During his education in Takasila, the young prince was busy serving his teacher, doing chores by day and learning from his teacher at night. He learned to use 5 weapons. He became stronger, faster, and more precise. He also learned the disadvantages of 5 kinds of wickedness and the profit of 5 kinds of virtue. When the time came for him to graduate, he received the 5 weapons from his teacher as a gift. On his way home, the prince came to a forest inhabited by the demon with matted hair. Some men saw the prince and warned him not to enter the forest, as the demon kills every man he sees. But the prince, having confidence in himself, went straight on, fearless as a man-lion. When the prince reached the middle of the forest, the demon showed himself. He made himself as tall as palm tree, his head as the size of a pagoda, his eyes as big as saucers. He had 2 hideous dogs, face of a hawk, a variegated belly, blue hands and feet. His head, limbs, and back were covered in thick matted hair. His hair was very dirty and sticky. When the demon saw the prince, he shouted,
"Where are you going? Stop, you'll make a nice meal for me."
But the prince calmly said that he came into the forest by trusting of his own ability, and he also advised the demon to be careful near him. The prince fitted his poison arrow to his bow and let it fly, but the arrow stuck fast in the demon's hair. The prince fired shot after shot, about 15 arrows, but they all stuck in the demon's hair. Then the prince drew his swords and struck the demon, but the swords also got stuck. The prince struck with his spear, club, and that too stuck. The demons laughed at the prince and tried to scare him, but the Bodhisattva was fearless. He hit at the demon with his right hand. It stuck first in his hair. Then left hand stuck, right leg stuck, left leg too stuck. Then he butted at him with his head, shouting that he'll pound the demon to powder. But his head stuck first like the rest of his body. But the Bodhisattva or the prince was not even nervous. The demon wondered why this young man not afraid of him. He is truly a lion of a man. The demon was curious. The demon thought to himself,
kills a lion of a man, a noble man, more than a man is he. Here he is fought by a demon like me, yet he will not fear a bit. Now why is it that he does not fear?
The demon asked the prince.
Why is it, young sir, that you are not frightened to death?
To which the prince replied,
Why shall I fear demon? In one life a man can die. For once and besides in my belly is a thunderbolt. If you eat me, you will never be able to digest it. This will tear you inwards into little bits and kill you.
By this the Buddhista meant the weapon of knowledge which he had within him. After listening to the prince, the demon thought that the prince spoke the truth about the thunderbolt in his belly, and being a lion man, it will be too much for him to digest. So being frightened to death, he let the prince go. But before the Bodhisattva went home, he gave some life lesson to the demon. He said, if the demon continue on doing wicked things, he will keep on going from darkness to darkness. He said, taking the life of living creatures causes reincarnation as an animal, or if one is reborn as a man, it makes his life short. The Buddha went on to tell him about the disadvantages of 5 kinds of wickedness and the profit of 5 kinds of virtue. He made the demon to worship the deity to whom offerings were made in that forest. So after admonishing him, the prince departed out of it. He went on to Banaras armed with his 5 weapons. He became great king and ruled righteously for the rest of his life. Thank you. Like, share and subscribe.